Hello. Um, Before I started my trip, when I was doing my planning for the trip, I was making a couple of videos. I was trying to do my best with speak English on the videos, so even the people that I know are watching my blog that not are from Norway should be able to understand it. So I will do my best to make a new video now in English. Today it is 3 months since I landed in Anchorage, so I was thinking that this is probably a good day to do it. I started my first leg from Norway to Sweden, Denmark, Holland, Belgium, down to the northwest corner of France, to take the train, the Eurotunnel over to England. I started that trip in April 27. The trip was just a transport leg, but anyway, it was nice weather. The road was more or less just highways, interstates or autobahn, but a good ride anyway. All the way to I started riding in England. I mean, I've been riding and driving in, I don't know, 35, 40 different countries. But riding on the wrong side of the road, I've never been so scared in my life. And it almost stopped before it started. I mean, in a roundabout in England, I was figure out that I have to ride in the wrong direction in the roundabout too, but I didn't look the wrong side. I didn't look to my right to see if there was coming some cars there, and it was. And lucky me, he was able to stop or drive around me, so I could continue my ride. After I delivered my bike in England, I flew back home to Norway. Nina and myself was going on an RV trip down to Europe. I think it was going down to Czech Republic. He was coming back home to Norway again May 12, and I took off May 13. Even that was a hard start, because when I come to Gardermoen, to the airport, they didn't let me check in because I didn't have a return ticket. And they say that I couldn't leave Norway and go to US if I don't have a return ticket. And I told them that I'm going to drive out from US. I'm going to drive down to Mexico on my bike. But it doesn't help, so I have to buy a ticket there. I buy an expensive one, 20,000 Norwegian crowns, about $2,500, just to be sure that it was that kind of a ticket that I get all the money back when I cancel it. So I did. I canceled the tickets a couple of days later and get the money back on my card. I landed in Anchorage May 13, pick up the bike May 14, drive up to Fairbanks. I met John, a guy from California that I drive together with for 5-6 weeks, I think. He have already been in Fairbanks for a week or so he was ready to take off. So the day after we take off and started on the leg north to Dead Horse. It was a great trip. refuel in Coldfoot, and Coldfoot was the last fuel opportunity we have to fuel, or the last gas station for 250 miles. But we was able to do it. The road was good. And when I'm talking about good, I mean it was of course dirt road, gravel roads, but it was dry. I've seen a lot of videos, I've seen a lot of pictures of people that really had a hard time on these roads because of wet roads. Wet and slippery roads, but we didn't have that. We had dry roads. The only problem was the dust. I mean, every time you meet a big truck, you almost have to stop because it was so much dust that you couldn't see anything. And we had some wind. I mean, when you were driving or riding in 50 miles on gravel roads with a hard wind from one of your sides, it's pretty rough, but we was able to do it. The temperature was incredible. All the way from Fairbanks. It started in Fairbanks. It was about 22 degrees Celsius, I think, and it was like that all the way up to the last couple of hours to Dead Horse. We arrived Dead Horse in the evening, May 16. I think when we arrived it was just down to 2 degrees Celsius, but anyway, it was great. And we could see that it was water all the way up to the roads for miles before Dead Horse. We didn't think more about it. We think that's how we should be. We have never been there before. But the next morning, the May 17, the Norwegian Independence Day, we got the information about that the road was floating. 3 different places outside Dead Horse. I was talking to one guy who was coming back with his pickup. He told me that when he was driving out, it was on 3 different places, it was 2 feet deep, and just 1 hour later it was 4 feet deep, and after that it was starting to be really bad. So no pickups could go out, no big trucks could go out, and for sure no motorcycles could go out there. So we were stuck in Dead Horse for a few days. And people start talking about that the road will be closed for at least 2-3 weeks. So we will still start thinking what the heck to do. If it was an expensive place to stay, the cheapest hotel, and it was just 2 hotels, I think. The cheapest hotel was a $130, I guess, for 1 person for 1 night. Okay, you have 3 meals included in that price, but anyway, it was way over the budget that we had. So after a few days, we was checking the prices to flew the bikes out. Now that wasn't too bad. It was $420 to flew 2 bikes out from Dead Horse down to Anchorage again. So we figured out that was a good price, a good deal. The tickets for ourselves was much more expensive, but anyway, we did it. And we flew down to Anchorage. They told us that the bikes should maybe come the same evening or the next day. It did for sure not come the same evening, and it did not come the next day. It did not come the next day after that either. Then we start to be worried, because then we get the information about the airport in Dead Horse get flooding. The plane couldn't take on and off there. And they told us that they didn't have the, I don't know what to call it, the cargo boxes to carry the bike in. They didn't have that. So they have to flew that in from another place. So anyway, we stay in Anchorage for, I don't know, 5-6 days or something before the bikes arrived. Then we finally could take off. We started on a trip over to Whitehorse. It was a great trip, a lot of gravel roads, beautiful scenery. The Yukon River was big, but we take a ferry over to the Whitehorse. Great city. I'd really like to come back there again. When we was driving out from Whitehorse, that was the first evening or the first day that we split. It wasn't something that we was planning, but we miss each other. Or we split up and was driving all day to the next city. Sorry, I mixed up the city name. The city we come to that day was Whitehorse. And the city on another side of the Yukon River, that was Dawson City. And Dawson City was a great place. Old-fashioned city. Probably like it was for 100 years ago. The road in the city was still gravel roads or gravel roads. Anyway, in the evening, I come to the city. I was looking on my GPS, looking for some toys, looking for a place to stay, find a hostel, drive to the hostel, and there was John. So then we was together there again. I think we stayed there for a couple of days because he had to do some maintenance on his bike. To make a long story short, we drive south through Canada. Canada was great. We do a lot of nice camping there too. We see a lot of black bears. We see a few brown bears. We didn't see any grizzlies, bison, moose, even a wolf. I mean, it was great. I must say that it was a little bit interesting to do camping when you know for sure that there's a lot of bears around, but it worked out. Drive down to Prince George, met some really nice people there. People that come from Norway in 1950, 1960, something around there. They have been good friends of my uncle, because he lived there. He passed away for a few years ago. So I have a really nice time there. They have also really hospitality, and yeah. Then it was time to hit to Seattle, because Terje, a friend of me from Norway, should arrive there, pick up his bike that he bought, 2012 KLR 650, and then was the plan to ride the Trans-American Trail. So we started from Seattle, go down to the coast to Portland. No, not around Portland, somewhere in Oregon there, and start riding the Trans-American Trail. And after just a few hours, the first problem come. We should cross a river. The river was quite easy because it was just a few feet deep, but on another side of the river was I don't know, a small hill or whatever you call it. At least you could not drive up there. So we have to take off all the luggage from the bikes, take the bike over the river, and actually carry the bikes up. I think we stayed there for 4 hours before all the 3 bikes was loaded again. It was great. And we have several of experience like that. But Oregon was a really hard part because it was a lot of logging area. And in the logging area they're making new roads every day, I think. And they close some roads too. And so we had a hard time figure out that we have to leave this logging area, find paved roads again, and see if we could be able to find the track again later on. So we did that. Stay on the tracks again for a few days. I mean, it was just fantastic. I fall over and hit my left leg. Bike was falling over my left leg, so I couldn't stay on my legs for a few days. But we were stuck in the wilderness, so we didn't have any choice. But we did do the tracks to come to the paved roads again. And then we also figured out that if Terje ever should be able to get home from Florida 1 month later, then we need to hit the paved roads and stay on paved roads to make some miles every day. It was okay, we do that. We have a nice ride in Utah. We split with John. He was heading to Mexico, or first to Moab and then to Mexico. Terje and myself was doing a lot of paved roads all the way down to Louisiana. Or first we stop in Denver. We stay in Denver for a couple of days with some friends there. There was some drag race. It was in Dallas, what they call it? Gas Monkey Garage. He was going down to New Orleans and see the stuff in New Orleans. He was going to Mississippi on some NASA place. He was going to Jacksonville. He was going to St. Augustine. He was going down to Daytona and see the NASCAR 500 or NASCAR something. After Terje left, going back home to Norway, I'm going down to the Key West. I mean, when you have been all the way up to Dead Horse, that is the very, very north of US. You of course want to go down to Key West too. That is a very, very south of US. Even when I and Nina was there for a couple of years ago, I want to go there again. I go up to to Daytona, change my tires and some parts. Started the trip to cross US again. Torger stayed with me for a couple of days. We go all the way over to San Diego in California. I mean, I have a great time. I didn't hurry up. I mean, stay on back roads for most of the time. Some places in Arizona, California, probably California, it was very, very warm. And I had to stay on the main road. It was a lot of traffic, or not a lot of traffic, but it was traffic, so I tried to stay on the same speed that everybody else. It means that you have to ride in 70, 75 miles an hour. And the temperature was 42, 43 degrees Celsius. That makes some problems for the 800 I have. I'm not sure what's happening, but I think that the fuel pump was overheating. So several times I have to stop let the fuel pump cool down, refuel so I could get some cold fuel again. And when I come to San Diego, I asked them to check it out. They couldn't find anything. So I guess the problem was just that the fuel pump was overheating. Anyway, I started on my trip down to Mexico. Mexico, the Baja area have been great. I feel secure every day. The road is great. There have not been too many stops, checkpoints. And when I come to the checkpoints, it's easy. Most of the time they just let you go through. A couple of times I'm just showing them my passport, nothing else. I've been on this place for a couple of days. I'll probably continue south tomorrow to La Paz. I'm not sure what's going on in La Paz, but I think that is where the ferry is going into the mainland. But before I take the ferry into the mainland, I want to go down to the southern part of Baja. It is beaches like this for, I think it is about 20-30 miles with this kind of beaches. I think I want to stay there for a few days before I go north again, take the ferry into the mainland and start to do some serious stuff in there. I have some stuff on my to-do list that I really want to see in Mexico before I start the trip continue south. Yeah, that was a little bit about what have been happening the 3 months that I've been on the road here in the US, Canada and Mexico. And maybe I'll make a new video next month. Who knows? Ciao.